All right, so this Knife Thoughts EDC, or everything that doesn't cut video, is going to be on this flashlight, and this is the Sofirn SP32Av2. So a little bit of a mouthful on the name there, but this is kind of the first EDC centered, everyday carry centered 18650 powered light that I have gotten. The first 18650 powered light that I got was this Wowtac A2S, but it doesn't have a clip, so I didn't really carry it. I've been carrying this for a while and wanted to do a video on it. Now, this is a budget-friendly light. It comes in at about $30. I got mine on Amazon. Apparently, you can get them for a little cheaper from Sofirn directly, but it might take a little bit longer. And what this comes with is the light, the clip, obviously. I think it comes with a lanyard, but I have no use for that. And then a charger and the battery. So I'll show you the battery here. An 18650 3000 mAh, 3.7 volt, lithium ion battery. And as you can see, this battery doesn't have an onboard charging, and neither does the light. So, that's why it comes with the charger. And I think that that's a nice thing. I've used the charger a lot. I didn't have a charger before getting that one, and it seems to work well. So it's a nice little package that you get. Now, one thing that's really nice about this light, especially for its budget price, is the user interface. So this has ramping. So you can turn it on. It does have mode memory, so it remembers how bright it was when you turn it off. And then you can hold the button, it'll go down, hold the button, it'll go up. And if you let the button off, it'll switch back and forth between those. Now you can also double click and it'll go straight into turbo. You can triple click, it'll go into strobe, and then you can also lock it out. And I'll talk about that in a second here, but I do like that you can get to the lowest mode and also the highest mode by directly. So you can click and then hold down, it'll go down to the low, and then you can always double click and it'll go to the highest mode. Then you can click again, it'll go back to where it was, click again, it'll go off. Now it does also have a stepped user interface where it goes, to set brightnesses. You can get to that pretty easily, but I have not used it much. So hold from off, it double blinks, and now it's in that stepped mode. So you can see it's stepping between specific brightnesses when I hold it. Same deal, you can double click to high and triple click to strobe. I'm not gonna do that again. Hold to turn it off in this one. And then again, I would just hold, it'll blink, and now it's on that stepped. So I really like the stepped user interface for a budget light like this. I think that it's really nice, it's useful to be able to pick your brightness like that. And I also like that you can get straight to the highest with that double click. Now, as for the lockout, it's something that it's really good that this has it, because it really needs it. So I've carried this a lot, and I found that if I don't have it on lockout, it turns on in my pocket pretty frequently, and somehow it pretty frequently gets to the highest setting. And it can get pretty hot. You can see that it has this hot up there. It can get hot, and definitely can get hot in your pocket. So I do suggest using the lockout or a mechanical lockout by unscrewing it, but I just use the electrical or whatever lockout. And it is kind of necessary, and the reason for that is if you see this button here, it does stick out quite a bit above the body of the flashlight. So it's just kind of easy for that to get pushed in your pocket when it's sitting, it's clipped to your pocket, and gets pushed against your leg or against your wallet or whatever. So it is nice that it has the lockout, because I do think that it's necessary and you should use it. And which the thing with that is that it's a little bit unfortunate, because when it's in lockout, so again, I can get it to lockout, and then you can't get right to, the high and things like that, which would be nice if you were using this in more of a tactical type, usage. But the lockout, it's good to have because it needs it. Now, as for the beam, I think it could be floodier for EDC. It has as you can see, a reflector. So it will kind of throw out to a relatively good distance. It throws pretty well for its size. It's not a super short light. I'll show you it in comparison to an MSR D4V2 and then a Convoy S2 Plus. The Sofirn is the longest of these three. So it is a little longer, and so you do get a little bit more throw out of it. I do think that it would be a little better for EDC stuff if it was floodier, because you get, more, view area, and it's a little bit less hard on the eyes with the hotspot that it has. But I do appreciate it's a good throw for the size, especially if this is more a tactical type usage. But with it needing that lockout, you can't use it as easily or as quickly for that tactical type usage. So it's a little bit in between EDC and tactical in the user interface and the beam. Now the tint isn't perfect. You can kind of see a little bit of a greenishness to it right here. Even on this black, you can see a little bit of greenishness. It's not perfect, it's not the best. This is the neutral white version of this, I believe. I think there's a cool white and a neutral white, but it's okay. It's not like you can't see things, because it's such a bad tint. Sometimes, I do appreciate a nice tint. This is a 219B emitter. You can see there's a big difference in the color temperature and the tint. And I do appreciate that, but I don't think it's as necessary as flashlight enthusiasts sometimes make it out to be. So it works, it's fine, particularly I think in that between tactical and EDC. One nice thing is the clip here. This is a pretty solid clip. So again, I'm going to show you in comparison to the Convoy, which the clip is kind of imperfect. Do I have it on the wrong area? I think I did have it on the wrong area. Anyway, it's not perfect. It's kind of thin here, and it doesn't hold exactly. And then the same deal here. This is a good clip. I like this clip on the D4V2, but it's not as sturdy as on the Sofirn. So you can see it has a wider kind of hold here. I've never had this come off accidentally, and I've never taken it off, I don't believe. It's held on there pretty well. So I do like the clip, and it's actually really easy to carry. I found that it's unobtrusive in the pocket because it's pretty thin for being an 18650 light. Now it's relatively long, like I've said, but that hasn't been a bother to me at all while I've been carrying it. I think that, it's not longer than typical pockets in the pants that I wear. So it has been relatively easy to carry. Now, one thing that I did add to this light is this magnetic base. So it comes with a tail cap that's actually slightly, not a whole lot, but slightly shorter, but doesn't have the magnet. So just be aware that it doesn't have that. Mine has it because I ordered it from AliExpress, actually. So sorry about the clock bell there. I don't know how to turn that off. But I do like the magnet. It allows you to, stick it to things while you're using it and things like that. Now, you might be asking, if you're searching for budget 18650 light EDC recommendations, why would I get this versus the very often recommended Sofirn SC31 Pro or the Workos, I believe it's FC11. And there's really one reason for that, for both of those, and that this doesn't have a charging port. So a lot of flashlights have onboard charging, and most of the time, almost always, there's very few that have waterproof USB-C ports, but almost always it's either a USB-C or a micro USB port covered by a silicone plug. And the truth is, if you carry and use your lights, those plugs are going to at least come loose, if not completely come off. And at that point, the light is not waterproof. They can get ruined like that. Now, is it a huge practical concern unless you're using your light underwater for some reason? No, not really. But just in kind of principle, I don't like that this kind of half measure to make the lights have onboard charging but also be waterproof is used so often. And so I pretty strongly avoid lights that have those silicone plugs for onboard charging ports. So that's why I, chose and have carried this over those two other very highly recommended lights. I haven't tried those. I might try them, but so far this one has worked for me because the battery charger that it comes with works fine. Particularly, you can just charge it during the day, while you're not using it. You want to watch them while they're charging, but I did ask, and this charger has overcharge protection and everything, so it's not a huge worry, but you do want to watch them. But it works fine. Now, one other thing that I wanted to mention is that on the site there are other colors. So you can get, I think, like a silver and a purple. I kind of wish I would have gotten the purple, but overall, I think that this is a really nice budget light. I probably will try some other budget lights to compare it to, but compared to the Wowtech A2S, you can carry it easier with the clip. It has similar build quality, and it's bright enough. It has a really nice user interface, and it's easy to carry. So for a budget EDC 18650 light, I think this is a good option, particularly if you're looking something with a little bit of a mix of EDC and tactical applications. So I have enjoyed carrying and using this Sofirn SP32Av2. If you are looking for a light like that, I wouldn't hesitate to get this as long as you're okay with some of those slight drawbacks and kind of compromises that I've mentioned. So if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you know when I post new videos. I've got more videos on flashlights and lots of videos on knives coming up. Also, check out my social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Knife Thoughts, and my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles mostly on knives, but also on EDC items like this. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.